off to college is a huge transition in every young person's life, and that's to say nothing of the transition for us parents of soon-to-be college freshmen. In the second episode of our Serenbe Kids Series, our lovely host Reese sits down with Kate. This episode was recorded last summer when Kate was a high school senior and just starting to hear back from her college applications. Of course, by now she's off to college, but in this episode, she chats with Reese about her childhood in Serenbe, how the community has fostered her appreciation for nature and finding the freedom to be creative in her hometown.
Having lived here for so long, it's really easy to stay in the bubble and forget that, this isn't normal. Most communities aren't like this. And so it's good to kind of take a step back and be really grateful and appreciative of this really special environment.
Thank you for coming on, Kate. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Before we start with questions, I just really wanted to have you on today because I know you're about to graduate high school, which is very exciting.
So exciting.
I just wanted to ask you a couple questions about what that was like, maybe how this community of Serenbe has just maybe benefited that, and how you go to Heritage, right?
I go to Woodward.
Woodward, all right, sorry. How Woodward has maybe helped you with that process. As someone who goes to Acton, it's always interesting to me to see how other schools benefit their students because schools are always so supportive of their students, and it's just something I'm always curious about.
Absolutely.
So how has Woodward helped you prepare for the college application process or just college in general?
Well, Woodward is known as a college preparatory school. So I think that pretty much as long as I've been there, which is since fourth grade, they've been keeping that goal of college in mind. Woodward is a pretty academically rigorous school. So I think there's a pretty tough workload, pretty heavy workload every day. And by now, having been there for so long, I'm completely used to it. I feel like I could write however many essays I need to and no problem. And I have no issue with getting any kind of work done. And it's also helped with organization. I think also Woodward just being as big as it is, there are so many different types of opportunities that are available to me. Everything from I can do theater to chorus, and we can go to All-State to there are so many different sports and just a lot of unique opportunities that I think are really special to Woodward and kind of help to prepare you for college. And I think also Woodward is a super diverse school. And that's one of the things that Woodward prides itself on is being diverse. And I think just being in a space with so many different types of people, I think is really preparing me for college, which will also be the same type of thing.
That's great. Do you think that you would be in the same place academically if you were to have gone to another school, or has Woodward really been that big push to push your academic limits and really make you stretch what you want and how to achieve it?
That's a good question. I mean, I think no one can say for sure, but I do feel like Woodward was a really good fit for me personally. I've always loved to learn, and I'm very passionate about that. And I think Woodward has been the perfect environment to kind of help me get to the place I am now, which is I just love learning, and I feel very strong in my capabilities academic wise. And I think that Woodward's definitely been a really integral part in helping me get there.
That's amazing. Personally, for me, Acton, we're really still in the matrix of figuring it all out.
Yeah.
But that's very great how Woodward's just so supportive of you, but they're still making you put in that effort that is also in a way supporting you. If that makes any sense.
Definitely.
So as we just talked about, Woodward's helped with your prep for college. Has the community of Serenbe helped with any of that prep in any meaningful way, and somehow has Serenbe helped with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been here in Serenbe for, I would say, almost 11 years now, which is a really long time. And I feel like I know almost everybody in the community. Well, now, Serenbe is getting so much bigger. And so I don't know everyone, but just having such an incredible, close-knit, tight community such as this one, it really makes me appreciate it, especially having such a small community. I feel like Serenbe has taught me how to kind of leave my mark on a community. And I'm really excited to bring that with me to college.
Yes, that's a beautiful answer. So do you know we're going to college yet? Is it close like Woodward? How do you believe that your Woodward skills that they've taught you there, how do you think those are going to transfer over to the college life?
Absolutely. So This month is when all of my college decisions are coming out, which is super exciting. I heard back from one of my first colleges last Friday, which is really exciting. So yeah, those acceptances and denials or whatever will be rolling in this month, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, I definitely think that a lot of those skills from Woodward will transfer. I have had a lot of friends who went to Woodward who have graduated and gone on to college who have said, wow, my college is a breeze compared to Woodward. You can handle it for sure. So that's very comforting to know.
Yeah, especially all the schools around the Serenbe area, they are always so focused on creating independent students. It's kind of crazy to look at how I am in sixth grade and how the skills that I'm learning compared to what I'll be needing in the college lifestyle, how much they are alike. And honestly, it's just great achievements to be able to say, oh, yeah, well, in my school, we're learning how to independently be able to work on our grades and make sure that we're staying on track. And I don't know about you, but honestly, for me, that feels very accomplishing.
Definitely, absolutely. And I'm not sure if you know this, but I went to the Montessori school here that was here for a year before Woodward. And I think that just gave me a really, really special, unique perspective and also a really interesting relationship with nature. So that's also kind of helped me grow.
Yes, I can see how, especially for acting the younger learners who are in the Montessori, that is just such a boost on their skills. I've babysat kids and they that have been in the Montessori, and this what they can do and what they are learning at such a young age is honestly, in a way, inspirational because there are these 4 and 5-year-olds who are getting taught how to simple things that sound really simple, but for someone their age, it's just really amazing. Like learning how to clean up messes or put away a dish and get all set for the day. And I can see how that'd be a good push on your academic platform before you head off to an elementary school or as somewhere like Woodward, as you said, that was much more academically pushing.
Absolutely. And I remember my days at Montessori. During recess, we would play with acorns. We would collect acorns, and that was our version of tag or whatever, games that most kids play. So I think that you don't really find that experience in many places. And that's something I definitely look back on very fondly.
So after we've talked about all this college prep, has there anyone that's been your big inspiration or mentor to be able to say, you can do this, let's push harder? Is there anyone that's been there for you, that's been telling you all those, you got this, like, let's do this, let's get to where we want to be? Is there anyone who's done that for you?
Definitely. I think my family has always been so supportive of me. And I'm a pretty self-motivated person. And I think Woodward has helped foster that quality in me. But my parents have been there every step of the way. Specifically, my mom has definitely been my biggest inspiration. She's just constantly reminding me also, push hard and work hard, but also, maybe you need to take a break, or is this math test worth another hour of studying? So sometimes it's nice to hear that.
Yes. So transferring back over to school, I heard you were in the production of Mamma Mia. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We just finished our production of Mamma Mia at Woodward, and I was lucky enough to be able to play the lead Donna. And I've been a part of theater at Woodward for all of high school, and I can't believe it's over now.
Are you going to take your theater skills and push them into college? Or are you thinking about not exactly starting over, but transferring over to a different subject of matter?
I definitely want to keep theater and music in general a part of my life in the future, but I'm not planning on majoring it at the moment. I'm not sure what I want to major in yet. I'm definitely excited to explore my options. The colleges I applied to are liberal arts colleges, which basically kind of encourage like an interdisciplinary approach to learning. And you can study a bunch of different areas of subjects and figure out what you want to do in life. So I'm excited to do that there.
That sounds great. As I said, I'm in sixth grade, so I don't really have to worry about that stuff yet, which I'm kind of happy about. That sounds very stressful and rigorous, but a college that can be able to give you all those independent choices, were not exactly independent, but creative choices, where you can say, one week you're really into, you want to say, I want to pursue that musical theater, but the next week you're looking at what it requires. You said, I might not be able to complete this, and you want to change it. That's something that I feel is really important for people so that they don't feel like, oh, this choice that I made, that isn't right. That can cause people to feel bad about it. And I feel like lots of colleges should start to incorporate that into their
Absolutely. And I think a lot of colleges too have, especially the ones that I'm looking at, have really good extracurricular opportunities. So I'd love to be a part of an a cappella group on campus and maybe participate in some theater productions, even if I'm not majoring in the subjects.
Yeah. So as I asked you earlier, how Serenbe has helped maybe with the prep in any meaningful way, is there anybody in the community that has inspired you to start all these interests?
I think honestly, just the community as a whole, it's just incredible how many people have been so supportive of me and who I've known since I was so little, who've always consistently showed up and leave bread on the doorstep. And so many Serenbe neighbors came to support me at Mamma Mia. And it was just so incredible, just like rows of people, everyone from Phyllis, who has always been there for me. And there are just so many people who have been there for me.
That's great. I'm a little bit newer to the community. I moved here August of 2020, but I can't wait to see what my future's like and all these opportunities that people have opened up for me. I've had the real estate team that has been so grateful and has let me under their wing, and I've learned so much from that. And just hearing your stories of how the community's helped you, that makes a lot less stressful about what my future will look like and how I'll have to prep for everything.
Definitely.
What's something this community has done for you that has really stuck out? I know, as you said, like they put bread on your doorstep. What's maybe an action of kindness that they have done for you?
Well, one thing, this was not actually for me, but for my brother, but I always think of this as a really good kind of visual representation of Serenbe. It was my brother's birthday. This was, I think, maybe 4 years ago. I'm not exactly sure. And we had a little golf cart sort of parade type thing for him. And all of the neighbors came out and made these like homemade signs and came out on their doorsteps, and people had bells and pots and pans and like were hitting them and making noise. And we just drove down and it was just, happy birthday, Tucker. And everyone was just so excited and cheering him on. And it was incredible to have and it felt like the entire community was just really supporting our family. And that was really wonderful.
That does sound extremely wonderful, especially during these times of COVID. I've just seen how this community has really risen to the occasion I've gone to friends' houses and I have written on their doorstep with chalk, happy birthday, and dropped them off a gift. Mm-hmm. And how we've all just sort of engaged and said, all right, this is happening. How should we fix it? And I've seen people who are selling stuff to help others, especially with what's happening in the world right now, and how this community can rise to the occasion so quickly that it's honestly extremely inspirational once you look at it from a long run. And yeah, that's something that I feel like people will visit Serenbe and they'll really look at it for how beautiful it is and what it has. But until you live here for a while, you don't really realize how great this community is and how much they're always there for you whenever you need it.
Definitely. I think too, having lived here for so long, it's really easy to stay in the bubble and forget that, this isn't normal. Most communities aren't like this. And so it's good to kind of take a step back and be really grateful and appreciative of this really special environment.
Yeah. So as you said, you've lived here almost 11 years. What are some of the best lessons that you've learned in these 11 years?
One big thing that I sort of spoke about earlier is just kind of that appreciation for nature. Having the trails right behind your doorstep, and my little brother would come home and his shoes would be completely filled with mud. And that's just like a really interesting and cool thing to have developed as a kid, to grow up with that. And I feel really lucky to have been able to grow up around so much nature. And I think the other biggest lesson, which I've kind of said already, is just this idea of community. It's become such a part of my identity. And I think I'll definitely bring that wherever I go.
Is there anything else you just like to share about your life in Serenbe or anything?
Ultimately, I'm just really grateful for this community. I can't believe I'm going to leave it soon. It's crazy.
Yeah. Do you know how far you're going to go for college? Are you trying to stay local, or are you thinking of going like across?
I'm pretty sure that I'm going to end up in the Northeast at like a Northeastern liberal arts college. So not going to be super close.
Are your parents happy about that?
They're very supportive.
Yeah. I can tell that a lot about this parents around here. They just all of a sudden they see, oh, okay, my child can leave and then come back before dark, and they've been in the forest all day, and they just start to loosen the barrier. And before you know it, you're like, hey, mom, I'm going to leave. I don't know what time I'll be back. And they just become so much more supportive. I mean, parents are obviously always supportive, but they just grow this extra level of, hey, there's this camp I want you to try out. Would you want to? Or one day I was sitting on the sidewalk and my mom was like, someone posted on Facebook, there's auditions for A Midsummer's Night's Dream. Would you like to try? And they start to realize this is what my child loves. And then that's honestly how I've discovered my hobbies. And that's how I discovered what I love to do. And honestly, in a way, who I am as a person through my parents, because they've just been so supportive.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I feel like for me personally, my love of musical theater, I don't think would have fostered the way that it has without them.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really it for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.